Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Moonlight Graham, and welcome to Episode 7 of Covert and Classified. In my search for interesting and unusual mysterious stories involving past history, I came across a name I was not familiar with, but who certainly played an unusual and bizarre part of the cultish German regime before the start of World War II. Her name was Maria Orsic. She was born in the city of Vienna, Austria, on October 31st, 1895. Her father, Thomas, was an architect who hailed from Zagreb, Croatia, and her mother, Sabine, was apparently a beautiful German ballerina from Vienna. As a young adult, Maria identified with the German national movement, which was an organization that started after the end of World War I. Their determined goal was to unite and annex Austria with Germany. Maria Orsic would also become the head of the All-German Society for Metaphysics, which was founded in the early 1900s. In 1919, Maria moved to München, where she fell in with a group that represented and perpetuated her nationalistic goals. This group was called the Thule Society. The secretive Thule Society was founded in 1910 by Felix Niedner, the German translator of the Eddas, which consists of Old Norse poems from the medieval manuscript of the Codex Regius that was written sometime in the 13th century. The Munich branch of the Thule Society was established in 1918 by Baron Rudolf von Sebottendorf. The society was named after the mythical land of Thule, which some ancient philosophers believed to be the most distant and inaccessible place on earth. In the eclectic cosmology that made up German occultism before and during World War II, Ultima Thule was the capital of Hyperborea, the land of the super beings who inhabited the hollow earth. The Thule Society initially focused on studying the occult and spiritual development, and it attracted many intellectuals and artists as members. However, the society later became more politically active and is believed to have played a role in the rise of the evil German party in Germany. Some historians feel that claim is true because the Thule Sonderrad, the sun wheel, was used as an inspiration for the World War II German flag and symbol. Early on, the Thule Society was primarily focused on studying the occult and spiritual development. Members of the society were interested in various topics, including astrology, alchemy, and the teachings of different Eastern religions. The Thule Society also had an interest in ancient mythology and folklore, and some members believed in the existence of a lost Aryan race they believed was the source of all wisdom and knowledge. The exact story and activities of the Thule Society are not well documented to its secretive nature, and much of what is known about the society is based on rumor and speculation. There are conflicting accounts as to whether Adolf Hitler was a member of the Thule Society, and no known documentational proof exists that he was or wasn't a member. As for Maria Orsic, it was not long after joining the Thule Society that she would become a leader and create her own secret group with several other friends that they would call the Vril Society. Now you may be asking yourself, why call themselves the Vril Society, and what does the word Vril mean? Well, Vril was supposedly a fabled source of free and infinite energy, as told in the 1871 novel Vril, the Power of the Coming Race. The book was written by Edward Bowerleiten and was published anonymously. The novel allegedly inspired Maria Orsic and her group of German occultists to start the Vril Society. Two booklets published in 1930 Berlin focused on Vril as an exotic spiritual technology and cosmic primal force that had the power to heal or destroy depending upon the user's intentions. Vril power could supposedly bring about a new utopian era for humanity, including the rebirth of Atlantean high culture. Maria Orsic and her Vril Society were a small group of females who were part of a circle of mediums, as they would be called. To clarify a bit more as to what a medium is, they are someone who supposedly has the ability to channel communication between the earthly world and that of otherworldly spirits, including extraterrestrials. I know this all seems very tin hat and far-fetched, but they really believe they possessed this psychic type of ability. But the story gets even stranger, as you will hear. The all-female Vril Society was later renamed the Vril Society of Women. During this time in history, women's popular hairstyles were mostly bobs and were short in nature. But for the Vril Society female mediums, they grew their hair very long in contrast to the popular short hairstyles, in the belief that their long hair would act as an antenna to contact and channel messages from the beings of other far-off worlds. The long hair made them identifiable as someone who was a Vril Society member, and for additional identification, Vril members also wore a disc, which represented the two mediums, Maria Orsic and her friend Sigrun. Fashion-wise, they certainly were not the norm during that time. In 1917, Maria Orsic is said to have contacted extraterrestrials from Aldebaran with her all-female Vril circle by using their very long hair as a receiver. Apparently, this far-off civilization of extraterrestrials whom Maria contacted supposedly lived in ancient Sumeria before leaving Earth for the Aldebaran star system. The location of this space civilization is in a solar system that is over 65 light-years away in the constellation of Taurus. It was through this extraterrestrial contact with the supposed advanced civilization that she received instructions on how to build and construct craft that would allow them to travel through space and time. As a medium, when Maria received communication from this distant civilization, these telepathic messages had their origin from the Aldebaran system, whereupon she then transcribed the messages into two different languages, which were languages completely unknown to her. The first was German Templar language, and the second was the ancient Sumerian language native to where the extraterrestrials supposedly lived long ago. At one point, after Maria's messages were translated into German, it was discovered, much to everyone's surprise, that she had been given complete and detailed instructions for building a flying saucer-shaped craft. Rumors have it that the Allies at the end of the war had captured SS documents showing the drawings and blueprints for such flying machines, but unfortunately no valid documentation was made public to prove it. The drawings show saucer-shaped vehicles, with one of them being cigar-shaped and able to hold up to 3 or 4 of the smaller saucer-shaped craft. Supposedly the intention of the Aldebarans was to help humankind into a golden age of technology by passing along the knowledge of a source of Vril, free energy that would free humankind to pursue a more enlightened path. But upon learning that their technology was going to be used for war and destruction, they ceased all further communication with the Vril mediums. The Germans supposedly built their first saucer craft called the Round Airplane that used a form of anti-gravity as a power source that was obtained through instructions of the Aldebarans. The first test flight of the Round Airplane was flown by a veteran German pilot by the name of Lothar Weiss. The craft was able to rise upon takeoff to a height of 100 feet above the ground before becoming unstable, causing it to wobble and tilt for a full 2 minutes. The pilot was able to actually land the craft safely, but soon after landing it, it exploded into 1,000,000 pieces. Supposedly other disc-shaped models were built with various design changes, and all of them were loaded with weapons ranging from machine guns to cannons. In 1936, there are rumors that Germany experienced their first Roswell-like incident. A UFO supposedly had crashed in Germany's Black Forest near Freiburg in 1936 and was recovered by SS troops shortly afterwards. The object was allegedly taken to Wewelsburg Castle, the main headquarters of the Third Reich, where their top scientists worked to back engineer it and find ways to use the technology to their advantage. Coincidentally or not, in 1938, the Germans had plans and blueprints for their very own saucer-shaped vehicle, which was called the Hanabu, and which was supposedly used a form of anti-gravity propulsion. Despite all these wild claims and rumors surrounding Germany's access to alien technology and science, no hard proof of their existence was ever found or made light of after World War II ended, and no documentation has ever been made available to the public as to their actual existence. This is certainly one of the more far-out and odd stories to come out of World War II, and with no real solid evidence made available to the public, it casts some serious doubt as to its validity. But maybe that is perhaps by design. If these otherworldly flying machines with their anti-gravity sources that supposedly existed and powered these saucer craft were indeed recovered by Allied forces, they might have decided very quickly to cover up their existence for secret testing of their own. But I cannot speak about flying saucers, mysterious spacecraft, and advanced technology without mentioning World War II German scientist Hermann Oberth. Hermann Oberth, if you remember, is one of the founding fathers of rocketry and astronautics that I have mentioned and quoted in my past videos. Well, here is yet one more cryptic quote from this brilliant scientist. Oberth once said, "It is my thesis that flying saucers are real and that they are spaceships from another solar system. I think that they possibly are manned by intelligent observers who are members of a race that may have been investigating our Earth for centuries." And with that eyebrow-raising comment, I will leave you with one more tantalizing historical fact about this strange story. After World War II ended in 1945, Maria Orsic and the other women of the Vril Society completely disappeared and were never seen or heard from again. None of them has ever been found, and the only document from their mysterious disappearance is a letter from Maria in which she cryptically stated, "No one is staying here." Did she fly off to Aldebaran with her Vril sisters on a Hanabu spacecraft to live out their lives on a far and distant planet? Who knows? But one thing I do know is that I once again had fun investigating and telling this sci-fi infused and truly bizarre tale that came out of World War II. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm Moonlight Graham for Covert and Classified, and hope to see you next time. Take care.